How to draw cookies. Well, in my country we call them biscuits actually, but anyway, we don't really use the word cookies unless they're kind of American, because cookies are kind of an American term, and there's a kind of a biscuit that we would call a cookie, I think. So anyway, just make some room. Now, if you've seen my previous thing on ellipses, then I think that's going to be quite important. So if you don't know about ellipses, then let's kind of go and have a look at that video about ellipses. That will give you an idea. So I mean, I think most biscuits are kind of a round shape, aren't they, like that? And if you think of them then as being, so it's not it's a round shape from the top, but when you look at it from the side, then of course it's an ellipse. And in fact, I'm going to make that a bit of a fatter ellipse so that you're looking from more of a higher angle, like that. Good. And then you know, biscuits are kind of cut with a cookie cutter, aren't they? And so let me make that more obvious. I'm going to get rid of that bits in the middle there. Good. And that's kind of, you just want it coming out slightly like that. Now find the middle like that, and find the middle horizontally, and then get kind of, this is a visual thing, you want to kind of find the in-between points, and again the in-between points there, and that's a kind of a visual thing really, rather than anything mathematical. And we're going to give it a little kind of rounded edge like you will get on a cookie cutter. So a little kind of a flowery kind of pattern like that. And then these lines will kind of radiate downwards, so that will obviously be vertical, and these will go slightly outwards. That's probably a bit too much there, and then that will come there. So then you want to put the curves on the bottom there as well, like that, and that's kind of basically your kind of cookie shape. And I think at the top here it'll be quite a smoothing off of those curves, and then on this side you might not just want to kind of not make them join up completely, kind of like that, and then that's going to go there, that will come there and around, and that'll probably come up there, something like that, there we go, like that. And you'll have a little bit there, and you'll probably have a little bit showing there, and you might have some little holes pricked in the top, something like that, and a few little bits in the top like that, and there's your basic kind of cookie shape. If you wanted it to be a more kind of like a Maryland cookie kind of thing, then again, you know, chopped chip cookie. Again, you want an ellipse to start with, and this is kind of, you know, so bring that kind of line in there, but it's going to be much more, it's more of a blobby kind of shape, and you're going to want some bits and lumps kind of sticking out like that, and I would kind of do those lumpy bits first, get those kind of in there like that, and shade them in. So those are your chopped chips, and you have much more time than I do, so you can spend more time doing this. And I just give it a kind of a wrinkly, crinkly kind of edge like that, and all the way around, wrinkly, crinkly. Oh, let's put another one in there, and another one there. And then this is going to be, you're going to want a bit of shade around the edge like that, just to give it a bit more kind of shape. And then you're probably going to want lots of little kind of bits there to give it kind of texture like that. So that's another kind of cookie. And then the last one I'm going to do, then how long have I got room in there? I've got room to fit it in. Then I'm going to do a kind of a, I don't know if you get these all around the world. I mean, we have these biscuits called Custard creams, which are probably one of my favourites. and they're a kind of a box shape. So you've got a biscuit on the top. I suppose it's the same kind of idea for a bourbon biscuit, which are those kind of long chocolate biscuits that I always used to call doggy biscuits when I was a boy. So that's kind of, you've kind of got this box, and then you'll want to kind of curve the edges of that box, and curve that there and curve that there. That will curve around, and again this wants to be a bit curvy there, and then you'll see that will curve around, then you'll see the kind of cream in the middle. I'm sure you're going to get biscuits like this wherever you go. So around the world, I'm sure there are similar kind of biscuits. You might call them different things, you might have different fillings, and then you want to do the kind of the cream in the middle like that. It's kind of a sandwich really, isn't it? There we go. And then that will come down there like that, and you probably want to have a suggestion of a line there, but don't make them join up at the bottom there, and you probably don't want to have a hard line on there, so put a kind of a dotted line to show that there are edges there. And then I think, oh I don't know, I should have had a look, shouldn't I? But I think custard creams have a kind of a pattern, kind of something like that. I don't know, there's a kind of a crisscrossy kind of pattern on them, I know, something like that. And let's call it Custard cream. Got to spell it properly, haven't we? There's probably some little fancy something like that. And that's kind of it. So there's 3 kind of cookies for you. This is a strange thing to draw, isn't it? But it's a kind of an exercise in what to do with ellipses and things, and which is quite good, which follows on from my last video. What's that? I'm just going to put a little bit of kind of shading in around there like that. A bit in there and a bit in there, and maybe some like that. And I think this might need a bit of shading. Kind of. This will certainly need a bit of shading kind of down there, and probably in there as well. And then you can put a bit of shading around the back if you like, maybe a hint of shading underneath there too, so this is probably a bit darker there. Good. There we go. How to draw cookies. That's a strange one. I never thought I'd end up showing you how to do that. So there we go. If you enjoyed that, keep coming back to the Shoo Rayner drawing channel on YouTube, and www.shoo-tube.com, which is my own website where you can see these videos in schools and libraries through all the filters. So don't forget to keep coming back, and in the meantime keep drawing, and practice, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.